Yes, I know the movie's been out for a few weeks, but better late than never. Hi guys, David O'Sullivan here, and I'm here to give you my review of the new film, The Big Sick. Well, actually it's been out for a few weeks now, but I've finally gotten the chance to just check this movie out, and I've been wanting to watch it for quite a while. I had actually two opportunities to see it at, two early screenings a few weeks back, and I missed both of them, and that was really annoying because, as I mentioned, I've been really looking forward to seeing this film, and I finally got the chance to check it out. And was the wait worth it? Absolutely. I really enjoyed this movie, and pretty much everyone has come out saying this movie is amazing and they loved it, so you're not going to get a real kind of different opinion from me. But what I can tell you is that I'm not generally a big fan of rom-coms typically, and it's kind of weird to call this one a rom-com because it's a romance and it is very funny, but it's not a rom-com in the stereotypical sense at all. And that's what I love so much about this film, because I'm not the biggest fan of rom-coms. I don't mind rom-coms. That film a couple of years ago, Man Up, with Simon Pegg and Lake Bell, I actually really enjoyed that movie. Now, was it a little cliche? Was it a little predictable, a little by the numbers? Yes, but it was kind of well done cliche. It was, you could see the painting by numbers, it was doing it by the books, but you didn't necessarily mind it because it was so well done. But that being said, it was still a little cliche, a little predictable. You could see where it was going, you could see what they were doing. Well, with this film, it was not like that at all. It was so just refreshingly different. It didn't feel cliche at all, and that's what was so great about this movie. It felt refreshingly real. And it is based off a true story, I should mention that. In case you don't know already, this film is based off the real life story of Kumail Nanjiani, who was the main guy in this film, and he plays himself. And his girlfriend, Emily, is played by Zoe Kazan, and she does a great job as well. They're both really great in the movie, and the film basically revolves around those two and their relationship and how they struggle to maintain this relationship because of what's going on between their families and the troubles that they have with their families, and certain problems arise as the film progresses and they struggle to actually maintain this relationship. But even though it is based off a true story, it still could have been told in a kind of cliche or kind of formulaic or movie-like way, but it didn't feel Hollywoodized. It didn't feel like a movie at all when I was watching this film. It felt almost documentarian in a way. It feels like you're watching real people in slices of real life, and it was really refreshing in that respect. And as I mentioned, the main guy, Kumail Nanjiani, I think that's his name if I'm pronouncing it correctly, he was really great because he's actually a stand-up comedian in real life. Obviously he's playing himself, but he's a really great job in this movie, and he's the main guy. This film really rests upon his shoulders. Everything that happens in this film revolves around him, and he has a massive part in this film, and he does a really great job, because if he wasn't as good as he was, the film might have fallen flat. It might not have been as good, but he did a really great job, and he really helped to carry this film. And also Zoe Kazan, who plays the girlfriend Emily, she was really great. She's not got a ginormous part in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a large portion of the film where she's not actually in it, but she still did a really great job, and the relationship between her and Kumail was really great because it didn't feel like you're watching a kind of movie relationship. Obviously I know it's based off a true story, so it's going to feel a bit more real, but just in terms of how it was presented and how it was written and how it was acted, it just felt a lot more real, a lot more believable. There was none of these moments that you get in other kind of rom-coms where it feels a little cheesy, it feels a little cringeworthy, it feels a bit scripted, it doesn't feel very natural. There was none of that in this movie. It didn't feel cliche at all. It felt so real, so genuine, so convincing, so believable. It felt very authentic. It didn't feel manufactured or created in any kind of way. It felt so real and believable, even though Zoe Kazan isn't the actual girlfriend, but Kumail is the actual guy. It still felt very real, and it still felt very genuine and believable, and I really bought into it, and I really loved the relationship between those two. They had great chemistry, and I think that was a real big highlight in this film. But also I've got to mention the second act of this film. I don't want to spoil anything, but for certain reasons, Emily, the girlfriend, doesn't actually play a big role in the kind of middle portion of the film, and it involves Kumail interacting and struggling to get along with Emily's parents. And I really like that aspect of the film, so in that respect it made it very different from a typical rom-com. But that portion of the film might have even been my favourite part of the film. I think it was really great seeing Kumail interacting with Emily's parents and their kind of dysfunctional relationship that starts off a little uneasy, but then they grow to actually really like each other over the course of the film. And I think that was really great, and that was really refreshing as well, seeing him interacting with her parents, and it became almost a family drama for the second act of the film. I actually really liked that, but also it had the kind of first act and final act that bookended that part of the film that was almost like a rom-com, as I said. The bits with a relationship with Kumail and Emily that bookended the film, but then we got that family drama portion in the middle. So I actually really liked that part of the film, and I thought it was really great. Holly Hunter and Romano play Emily's parents, and they were both really great in this film. I really enjoyed them, and a lot of time was actually dedicated to them and their relationship as well, and they both did a really great job. And as I said, the relationship between them and Kumail I thought was really great, and a real highlight in the film as well. And also, of course, this film is a comedy as well, and as you'd expect, it's very funny. Obviously the main guy is a stand-up comedian, but just in terms of like the relationships and the interactions between the characters and how certain jokes are made to kind of to provide levity, and you know, so it doesn't feel too serious. Even when there's very serious things going on, there's still humour that's thrown in there, which helps it feel more real in a way, because in real life there is humour all the time. You know, a film wouldn't be realistic if there was no humour and everyone was really serious and, you know, dead serious all the time. That's not what real life is like, and this film really captured that really brilliantly. How, you know, even when there's moments of tension and moments of drama and very serious things that happen, there's still moments of humour, there's still jokes that are thrown in there, and it just works so well. It didn't feel forced like it does in some movies where it feels like humour was really shoehorned in there. It just felt so natural, and again I keep coming back to this, but everything just felt so real. You know, nothing felt like it was purposely put in there, like it was purposely scripted, and nothing felt out of place. It just felt so real and natural, and that's what was so great about this film, and what really set it apart from the majority of rom-coms. It felt real. You know, it didn't feel like a movie really in its stereotypical sense, and it's probably my favourite rom-com since 500 Days of Summer. And again, it's weird calling either of those two films rom-coms actually, because they're not rom-coms in a stereotypical conventional sense at all really, but that's why I like this movie so much. It wasn't like a stereotypical conventional rom-com that you've seen in many times before. It felt real, it felt fresh, different. It was very refreshing. That's probably the one word I would pick to describe this movie. It was just refreshing, and it was a really enjoyable experience. I'm really glad I went to see it, because I was like, oh, should I go and see it now? It's been a few weeks, you know, it's been out for quite a while, is there any point in reviewing it now? But I went to see the movie and I was really pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed the movie, I had a really good time. So I would definitely recommend going and seeing The Big Sick if you haven't already. Obviously it's a smaller film, it's not a big blockbuster, it's not going to be playing in as many cinemas as some of the bigger movies, but if you still haven't seen The Big Sick yet, and if it's still playing near you, I definitely recommend going and giving it a shot, because I'm not generally a big fan of these kind of movies, like romantic comedy dramas, not really all the time, but this movie I really loved, and I thought it was really great. As far as criticism, there wasn't really anything that I disliked about this film. If I had to nitpick it, I'd say that towards the end of the third act it started to drag a bit, and it started to feel like it was going on a little bit too long. I started to feel the length of the film a bit, so maybe it could have wrapped up a little bit sooner. But other than that, I really have no problems with this movie. I think it was really well done. I think the performances were fantastic. I think it was really well written, it was funny, it was refreshing, it was actually surprisingly kind of very life-affirming as well. It had an uplifting, inspirational, feel-good quality to it, watching these people and these relationships unfold, and in terms of it just feeling very real and fresh and funny and different. It just was very uplifting for me in that sense, and I really enjoyed this movie. So there we go. I'm going to give The Big Sick 5 stars. And there we have it, guys. I wraps up my review of the new film, The Big Sick. Have you seen it yet? And if so, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this and you haven't already, be sure to click subscribe to see more. And if you missed my last film review, be sure to go ahead and click over here to catch up on my last film review, or perhaps down here to catch up on another one of my recent videos. But with that said, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.